Hello, my golf fanatics. It's Billy Ho here, coming at you with the course preview show for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Uh, Got to give props to the way they promoted this tournament year after year. Waste Management as a company, however, I have some stories that I could tell you, but I'm not going to bore you. They're just the worst kind of customer service company as far as managing customers goes, but putting on a golf tournament, pretty damn good. So this is going to be our Super Bowl opening show, and I'm sure everybody's going to be really interested in it this week. So anyway, this is a best of the rest tournament. $9 million total purse, roughly 1.6 million to the winner. So not going to have this big a field as we had, but Waste Management always draws a good field regardless. It's one of the best tournaments of the year, one of the best courses of the year. So we don't have anything to worry about there with star power. We do have a couple withdrawals, but that's to be expected. Scottsdale, TPC Scottsdale, where we're playing this week, one of my favorite courses to break down. I used to love playing it back in the old PlayStation days with PGA Tour, 96, 98 and all that. Scottsdale was one of my favorite courses to play. So we're going to get into it and take a look. Let's go. Like I said, TPC Scottsdale is a beautiful desert style golf course. Plays roughly 72, 7,300 yards, depending on where they put the tees. Par 71, risk reward holes on the back nine. Generally Bermuda grass for the most part, fairways mixed in with some overseeded POA on the greens, but the greens are really, really pure. The fairways got some rye and fescue mixed in there. The rough is not overly penal. It's about 2.5 inches, but it's a similar mix. It's more rye and fescue grass, which is easier to play out of. Only 67 bunkers, but plenty of waste area around that can cause problems if you're a little wild off the tee. Greens large and receptive, but firm and fast. So they are tricky to putt on, but around the green is nice and rounded off and shaved. So around the green is much easier at a course like this. So you'll see a few more chip ins from off the green, chip in eagles on these par fives. So around the greens is going to be a little more important than I originally thought it was. I originally wasn't even going to care about it, but I think on these par fives, the drivable par 417th and some of these other holes that around the green could come in handy, and the really, really good ones at chipping in like Scotty Scheffler will be guys that you can target there. I believe PGA has a stat on like chip ins or hole outs. So that might just be one just to take a look at. Not anything you want to put a whole lot of stake in, but maybe just a quick peek to take what to see what they've got, and maybe anybody that you actually like. It might add a little bit of a tick mark there for them. So typical Tom Weisskopf design, clever. The front nine's pretty straight up, medium par fours and gettable par five. Couple of tough par fours, holes 6 and 8. The back nine is where Tom Weiss got clever. His design adds drama to the closing holes. Basically, the fun begins around hole 13, which is a pretty easy birdie slash eagle hole if players get it out in the fairway, par five. Then you have a pretty tough par four. Then hole 15 is a very much risk reward par five. You have to really, really bomb it out there in the fairway, but the fairway can get your ball off the tee with water on approach as well. And so it's basically a pros feel like they need to bomb it out there to get to the island green and two. So if you're not out there, or you're probably going to lay up because you don't want to risk finding the water. You survive that test, and then you step into the ring, so to speak, on hole 16. I'm sorry, and that's the big stadium par three. We all know it well. Ryder, I believe Sam Ryder made the last memorable hole in one, and the crowd. It was like a Saturday afternoon, so you know how it went. 20,000 people or so roughly in that stand. Stadium style, 16th hole, dramas and beers flying. Then I don't know how players do it, but then after coming off an adrenaline shot like that, you come up to par four 17th hole, And it's a no-brainer decision. Everybody goes for it. Pat Mayo talked about it on his show, and I had the same logic that and I believe I have it down here. Players, even if you hit it in the water, you still make par at a good clip. So bogey at worst. A lot of times there's really no big numbers by hitting it in the water because you can drop it right there and nearly chip it in to make birdie. And that might not be too big of a surprise either. So basically, that's what you need to know about 17. 18th hole is a great finishing hole. It's got the water up the left, typical like a Florida uh, style course where you can bite off as much as you want to try to make your approach shot shorter, but it is a dogleg left, so having some drawing capabilities off the tee would help there. So that's basically the course as we see it. Running through the stats, we can see the approach and putting standing out as keys to success. Specifically, it's the mid-type irons from 125 to 175. Also, with the desert layout, around, like I said, the trimmed grass around the greens, strokes gain, getting up and down for par is not as difficult, but it does increase those opportunities to get those extra birdies with the chip ins. If you're just short of the green, they're very easy up and downs. So I'm going to have that in mind. Short game is a category you could use as far as combining around the green and putting together, which is not a bad idea this week. Specifically, mid irons, 125 to 175. Uh, Tee to green, though, it does come into play basically all the way around. You can see on Rick's website here that it goes basically almost the course versus the tour average are almost on top of each other with maybe just a little bit more on tee to greens. You can see how where it's ranked 11th. So that's pretty important there. And always down here to start to look at players, you can see who kind of fits this course adjusted fit wise. Obviously, Minwoo Lee is going to be popping in a lot of stats. We'll get to them in a minute. But the stats that I really like, uh, driving distance and good drives gained is kind of like where I'll get my strokes gained off the tee from. Guys are literally going to bomb it this week, so you got to keep that in mind. Weighted strokes gained as a whole, greens gained, opportunities gained, all that kind of stuff is very important. Taking a look at my first custom model here, I sprinkled all those categories in there pretty good. So what I came out with, Sungjae number one, posting EVR, Eric Van Rooyen playing some very good golf, playing some of the best golf probably of his career, especially striking the irons. He has really got that approach dialed in. Eric Cole, we know, is just like a machine. He ran up against Farmers, which was the one course that he probably didn't set up for very well. And even here, which is Eric Cole, one of his big flaws, we jump over to the cheat sheet, is driving distance. He's a little bit not, I wouldn't call him short, but he's shorter and he's less accurate. But you can see how his greens and how well he's been playing. And he does have a good track record going back to the fall swing. So, you can't beat that. What I wanted to do was slide over to the over here to get some course history. And let's see, Eric Cole, I thought so. So no course history for Eric Cole. I was just wanting to confirm that. That knocks him down just a little bit because I think course history here is somewhat sticky. So I think that it would be interesting to see how he does. I don't think there's a course he can't play. He seems to be able to navigate his way around anywhere, just about. So he has missed his one cut at Farmers, so maybe he's back on the train again. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas are going to be your two main focuses this week. They're the only two guys 5 digits. We had Xander drop out, which really cost us. The rest of the custom model over here, like I said, Cole, Scheffler, Bhatia, all guys that are good that can hit it long. Bo Hostler can hit it long. He's great around the greens, can putt the lights out. He's actually got some pretty good history here. Sahith Theegala almost won this tournament a couple of years ago. He just screwed it up on 17. Andrew Putnam is another one. I think people might overlook because he's not really super flashy off the tee. He's not one of them big bombers and whatnot, but he is just a solid all around player. His irons are still in good shape, and he's obviously rolling the rock. He's hitting a lot of greens in regulation. He's a guy I'd have interest in this week. I do believe he is got some course history here, but not really 100% sure. Akshay is another one that doesn't have any course history here. Keep that in mind. Then we got guys like Daniel Berger, who we've seen a little bit of, but not much yet. Wyndham Clark, actually, and I'm just going to be bouncing around. I don't have a rhyme or reason here. Wyndham Clark finished 10th here last year. He got the 54-hole lead, finally woke up the clubs and started balling out again. So I don't think that there's any reason why he couldn't just run it right back. He's got to be thinking a 54-hole canceled tournament kind of, not that it doesn't count. It obviously does, but it probably leaves that taste in your mouth. I didn't complete the tournament, so I could see him coming right back and doing really well at a course where he looks like he's got the driver going again, and the irons is what's been killing him all summer. So if he's got those irons rolling again, then you're in for a real treat. Some other guys down the list, I'm just going to kind of point out some guys that I think are interesting. And you can see this is like the first look pre ownership. And I don't think that's far off. I think these two top guys will be 30 and 32 because nobody has a problem playing the number one top guy. And then you don't have anybody to worry about till you get in the 9Ks. I think Homa and Burns could go overlooked somewhat. But Spieth is going to get some play. Fitzy, Cameron Young obviously is your pivot right here in this range. He's going to be the lowest owned guy, but he hasn't really shown anything recently. His around the green game, which shouldn't hurt him too awful bad here. So maybe Cameron Young's one we'll take a deeper dive into. Like I said, Wyndham Clark, JT Poston, all these guys are going to garner some ownership. Benny On, this seems like a course he could absolutely crush it on with the way he's hitting the ball off the tee and his approach game and his improved putting. All that seems to add up to me at 8,800. A guy that has got some history here, got a couple of top tens, hadn't played it since he went to trash. That's basically his 2 year. He went through 2 years of just I don't know what happened to him. He just completely lost his game. So he's got it back and better than ever. So Benny On's in the mix. Uh, and moving down here, this list I thought was this first model that I ran was pretty interesting. Michael Kim hits it a long way. Davis Thompson, Grayson Sigg, good around the green. All these guys that are in the top 15 are guys you can use down low. 6,700, 69, 71, 72. Kitayama was mentioned last week as a guy, and I think he's a better fit this week. 7,200. He can really get it out there. He has one appearance, the 23rd. He probably will not get a lot of play this week. I can't imagine him being 5%. Where is he at here? Kitties. Okay, so he is getting a little bit of play. So word's probably getting around a little bit on him. But then you got your regular ball strikers, Lucas Glover, Nick Taylor got real close to winning this last year. Ryan Fox can hit it a long way, but I don't trust guys that come from overseas until they show me a little something. Like he has no history here either. They got to show me a little something here. Billy Horschel has been hiding in the shadows. And I think these last two tournaments where he missed the cut were not his jam at all. I know one of them was Farmers, but he's back over here. He's got a little bit more Bermuda, a little desert, some water, maybe a little bit more of a Florida feel in a desert style course. He's got a pretty good string of cuts here, and I'm pretty sure nobody's playing Billy Ho. He's got 8%, so he might be getting talked up. I don't trust these ownership projections fully. I just use them as a gauge. Michael Kim was on the Pat Mayo show. He's going to get the Mayo bump this week. People will play him. He's shown really good form recently. Adam Svensson, he's got some really good ball striking coming into this tournament. Eckroat's a good up and comer. I love Ben Griffin this week. He really showed up in some of the earlier models that I ran. Looking over here, Kevin Yu been barking at the door. Nick Hardy's been playing well. Hadwin Connors, all these guys are your ball strikers. So, Aaron Rye, 7,100, Nate Dogg, Nate Lashley, Matt Kuchar, $7,000. There's a ton of guys down here to play. So you can always play Scotty up top and maintain balance. So let's finish off the show doing just that. And we are going to clear this. That's a first look lineup, so I don't recommend tailing that. But we can just start it off by plugging in Scotty. And then we can go down here and just go. We're just going to go bottom to the top to the bottom. Bramlett's a good long baller. You can pick anybody you want down here. Honestly, Dylan Wu makes a ton of cuts. Carson Young, Higo. There's a ton of guys down here. So we'll just go off of somebody that popped in the model. Sig came in 11th, so we'll play him. Now that shoots us right up to 79. So we'll jump back up top. And let's get in this 7K range and get somebody we really like. Montgomery seems to be rolling the rock pretty well, 7,400. And he's only got the one missed cut. And so we'll say Bo Hostler, make it an even 8K. We're still right in that same wheelhouse. Now we definitely want a guy up here. Number one guy in the model was Sung J M. So that does kind of hamstring us a little bit going up top, but we got the top price guy, we got a 9,300, we got an 8K guy. So we can go back down here into the lower sevens. I believe there was a guy dead on 7K that we were talking about just now. Kuchar or Michael Kim. He's made 6 of 6 cuts, really playing well. So we could try that, and then that gives us 7,300 to close. Now that isn't great, but if you just clear, say we just clear Scheffler, and then we go down here and we just go, all right, what the hell, let's take JT. Now you got 8,900, and you can get up here at JT Poston. So that's the decision you have to make, and you could get really, really balanced if you skipped Thomas altogether, and say you like, I like M and Burns, and then now you still got 9,300, and you can fit in Clark. So if you go balanced, you can get 3 9Ks in, no problem, barely dipping into the 6Ks. That's what I like to do. So that's going to be a first look. Hope you enjoyed it. Came out a little late, so my apologies on that. But good luck this week, and we'll see you soon.